Right bracket Chapter 11. The Truth About the Koyle Mine. John H. Koyle. The following information was printed in a small pamphlet in early 1933, in answer to Dr. Frederick Pack. The Truth About the Koyle Mine. John H. Koyle answers statement of Frederick J. Pack. For a number of years, myself and friends have been laboring persistently to secure values at the Koyle Mine, or Dream Mine, situated southeast of Spanish Fork. Since statements recently have been published by Dr. Frederick J. Pack that we have no present values nor any future prospects and have proceeded without having had any values, I am submitting the following reports. Assays made by Thomas E. Chatwin of Mammoth, Utah, August to December, inclusive, 1931, representing several hundred assays, vary from 40 cents to $6.40 per ton in gold. A chemical quantitative and qualitative analysis by H. Roman Ph.D., on December 24, 1932, gives a return of $2 per ton in gold and declares the following metals to be present: platinum, rhodium, osmium, nickel, arsenic, antimony, lead, and iron. Incidentally, on the same date stated above, December 24, 1932, Junius J. Hayes of the University of Utah faculty right bracket reported that he had assayed sample collected by himself from the Koyle mine and found gold to the extent of $1.70 and 80 cents per ton. These assays closely ally with one another. The following assays from various assayers in the city are still more of a definite informative nature. All samples were collected with the view of getting a fair return of the ore then being mined in the various drifts of the Koyle mine. Crisman and Nichols, September 6, 1932, returned $1.40 per ton in gold. Alonzo F. Bardwell, September 26, 1932, returned $6.89 per ton in gold. Black and Deason, April 22, 1932, returned $40.80 per ton in gold. The officials of the Koyle Mining Company, always wishing to get at definite facts, have spared no efforts in getting at true results. Respecting this fact, they had a series of samples submitted to the Assay Office of the United States at Salt Lake City, Utah, which rendered the following dates and returns. September 19, 1932, $22.40 and $64 per ton in gold. October 1, 1932, $17.60 per ton in gold. October 7, 1932, 80 cents, $1.20, $2 per ton in gold. Brian E. Grant, working at the Koyle Mining Company's assay office during the months of October, November, and December, made upward of 1,000 assays, showing returns of from a trace to $444 per ton in gold. A more careful analysis of these many assay slips shows several returns over $100 per ton, while the great majority of the assay slips show returns of from $2 and $3 up to $30. Such figures as $20, $16.80, $4.80, $4.40, $2.60, $12, $13.80, and $5.60 present themselves bluntly while thumbing this large collecting of assay slips bearing the signature of Byron E. Grant. Right bracket report of John M. Bestelmeyer of June 6, 1932. On May 30, 1932, at the request of interested parties and for certain definite reasons, and with the assistance of Mr. D. W. Jeffs, manager of the Utah Gold Company, we visited the Koyle Mining Company, situated at the base of the Wasatch Range, easterly of Salem, Utah, to sample certain faces within the workings of the mine, for the purpose of definitely proving any gold values that might be obtained by direct amalgamation and to determine as nearly as possible the value, if any, in ounces of gold per ton. All samples taken were properly numbered, dated and designated as to position, width of vein, with all faces properly cleaned of loose material, grooved and channeled, at regular predetermined distances, with due regard to the width of sample taken, to gain as near as humanly possible, a result of actual value, without fear or favor to anyone concerned. Sample number 139 returns values of $15.90 per ton in gold. Sample number 140, $17. Sample number 141, $44. Sample number 142, $21.60. Sample number 143, $22. Sample number 144, $5.50. Sample number 145, $15. Sample number 146, $14.80. and sample number 147, $9.10. As you know, these samples were taken to Salt Lake to be pulverized to the required mesh, and on June 4 were amalgamated by Mr. Fred Thompson, in our presence, afterwards sealing the gold in glass vials. I personally weighed the gold, with the results as tabulated. It might be well to state that no attempt is made here to go into locations, history, development, or exposures, topographical or geological features, other than to state that all work, past, present and future plans, is carried on in business-like, miner-like manner, and is impressive of good judgment, vision, personality and determination of Mr. Koyle. While the report of Dr. Frederick J. Pack states the complete absence of ore, the above report of Mr. Bestelmeyer proves ore of a commercial value to be present. Both men are competent in their respective fields. Mr. Bestelmeyer is a mining man of tried integrity and long experience, while Dr. Pack is a teacher of geology. It seems there is an inconsistency existing here that should be righted. The Koyle Mining Company accepts the report of Mr. Bestelmeyer, since his report was made from a non-partisan, unbiased standpoint, and free from any exterior intimidating influences. Dr. Pack, representing the state of Utah, took one set of 8 samples from the Koyle Mining Company property, and from a return of these samples, draws the conclusion that the Koyle mine offers no hope for the future. The Koyle Mining Company wishes to take the liberty to state that such a method of procedure is entirely unfair, unscientific, and unsatisfactory to our company. Due to the fluctuating nature of the ore, varying from a few dollars one day to several $100s on another day, as proved by careful daily assays made by the company, any one sample taken on any specific day could neither condemn nor justify the mine. Supposing Dr. Pack and his party should have visited the Koyle mine on a day when the company assay surrendered returns of $444, as was done on November 9, 1932, what would have been the nature of his report? The following letter was received by Mr. John H. Koyle. Provo, Utah, September 20, 1932. Mr. John H. Koyle. Spanish Fork, Utah. Dear friend Koyle, I was very much impressed today on my brief visit to your gold mill, and especially so in the clean appearance and workmanlike manner in which your instructions are carried out. I take this means of expressing to you my desire to help you in any manner possible, for I fully realize the pressure and strain that you labor under from day to day. In retrospection I can see Uncle Jesse Knight, a man of vision, struggling with poverty to find the Humbug mine, and later the famous Iron Blossom Channel. I see John Bestelmeyer, the pioneer of East Tintic, ridiculed as a visionary Dutchman, and I see E.J. Raddatz and his now famous Goat Ranch, striving to convince the people of Utah of the hidden wealth at their very doorstep. And now for a few opinions formed during 25 years of active mining, the first of which is that geology does not make a mine, in the state of Utah. The Mercer District, the Silver Reef and the copper deposit at the Big Indian in San Juan County, as types are geological impossibilities, and yet they do occur. If the metal production of the world depended upon the ability of the geologist and mining engineer, the major part of civilization would still be wearing breech clouts, living in log huts and getting their daily existence with bow and arrow. As a matter of fact, time, natural disintegration, erosion, and old man dig more are the principal factors surrounding every mining camp discovered up to date. The geologist is persistently put upon the defensive for the simple reason that Mother Nature writes upon the vaults of her hidden riches, a message in a language unknown to those scholarly book-reading so-called engineers. I maintain that a prospector with a jackass for a partner will find more ore in place in a given length of time than all the geologists in Salt Lake City. For many years prior to the coming of E.J. Raddatz into the East Tintic district, I had personally guided engineers, geologists, mining experts and doodlebug artists over the large outcrops in the vicinity of the Tintic Standard Mine, only to have again and again their theoretical arguments on weak mineralization, cold solutions, detrimental faulting and other poppycock stock in trade. Years later it was my luck to stand beside a reputable engineer connected with a large mining and smelting company, and hear this man condemn the mine, and yet he stood with feet firmly placed on ore that later paid millions in dividends. I distinctly heard him ridicule the ore in sight as worthless sulfide, filled with a few white specks. Knowing this and much more, I want to pass on this thought to you. Keep up the good work, and the day will surely come when your faith and hopes will be fully realized. With the best of wishes to all, I remain, sincerely, John M. Bestelmeyer. 284 East 4th North, Provo, Utah. I, John H. Koyle, hereby declare that all the above samples were taken from the Koyle mine, that these statements are true, that we have had values and have them at the present time. Signed, John H. Koyle. January the 27th, 1933.